Well, four-handed now. The blinds are going to go up to 30 and 60,000. And Park, I mean, Channing's style, this is where it pays off, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, if anybody's wondering, you know, why you do all that raising with, you know, maybe substandard hands, I mean, the whole idea is that you confuse guys, you know, and even if you have to run that end of your operation at a small loss, as long as you can afford to chips-wise, that, you know, when you do come up against a bigger hand and you've got a much better one, you get all the guys chips because he's just not putting you on that kind of hand.
And,
you know, poker's a game of illusion. And anybody that thinks it's a game of mathematics can just forget about it now and maybe go and play bridge.
I don't know what this means to Donald Norton. Obviously, he's been had his eye on Neil Channing.
The takedown is a total of 106,000.
All night. And,
yeah, well, he's gone from being within touching distance of the leader to being a mile behind.
Looking at Channing's ride through this final table so far. Red lines, Potsy's won, and those last two have all of a sudden taken him into sniffing distance, Park.
I never won a big title. I've been playing poker for years and years, and you know, it would mean a lot to me to win a big title. But particularly the Irish Open, because it's a traditional tournament. It's been around, you know, a long time, and it's got a lot of history. And there were a lot of great players in it this year. You know.
Small blind, big blind. Channing and Blake. And do you think Dunwoody and Blake are kind of looking at each other right now, or is it?
I think Dunwoody and Blake are perhaps the two happiest guys at the table.
Raised to 200,000 total.
They've moved 2 spots up the pay scale. They still have enough chips to get right back into this tournament. They're obviously very happy with their day's work so far.
Quick re-raise from Neil Channing, and
Whoa.
and this is the kind of stuff he can afford to do liberally, Park.
Well, Channing can afford it, he'll buy it, believe me.
Quick call from Donald. What is this about, Park?
I don't know.
He's in position here. The 9 will be a disaster card for him.
Certainly is. The biggest one so far.
Oh my gosh.
5, 10, 6.
It's come perfect for Donald. Just
check.
Neil checks. Donald announces all in. Neil.
Wow. What happened there?
You're asking me?
Was Donald trying to send a statement there that he is not going to automatically fold to a re-raise? That he's not going to let Neil push him around?
I'm not good enough to answer that one. You have to ask him yourself.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to build up off a couple of the short stacks early on, just to catch up on Neil Channing and not allow him to steal as much of their chips as I need to steal, and try and avoid him for the time being, and hopefully just give him a blast.
Played 34 hands at this final table, and Norton has just picked up about 600K from Channing in a weird way. He's got over 2 million now, and perhaps, Parg, Donald Norton wants to say, hey, I don't care what I have, I am going to keep in touch. I don't mind. I am after you, Neil Channing. I'll tell you what, Channing has played this so far in a very sort of calm and methodical spirit. And Donald Norton, I'm just getting the feeling that this is kind of like he's going to try and win this through the sheer force of will. And he has got a lot of will right now.
He certainly has. Interesting enough, he's got 2.3 million, Donald Norton, and he was stacking his chips in... I've never seen this before, in 23s. He seemed to think 23 was a very powerful number. If he finds out he's got 2.3 million, he'd be delighted.
And Dunwoody making a middle and ace fold there from the small blind. Norton has decided to peel off the flop with the face cards.
And the flop is 5, 10.
Last time we got this kind of situation when Blake raised and missed the flop.
All in nominated by Donald.
Oh. Jeez, Bard.
Well, you see, all in sounds like a huge bet when you've got 2.3 million, Jesse, but the realities of the thing are that he's only actually betting what Blake has in front of him.
And Donal is playing right now, Pard, the part of a steamroller. Was that kind of a stop and go? Where anything but the ace comes, he's pushing?
It certainly gave a good impression. That was the plan. And he's executed it perfectly.
The sands of time are ticking for Tim Blake right now. And Thomas Dunwoody on Tim's left knows he can have a look at what Tim does first.
All in.
What he's done is push all in, Park, from the button. And
Good man, Tim.
Toss.
I mean, I promise you, I want to see Tim Blake win it, but I mean, I know how much he's enjoying it. He's been a great addition to the tournament with his amiable disposition.
yeah,
He's got a bit of personality about him. He fits in pretty well around here, and I'd hate to see him go out too early.
he's been smiling at every point.
clubs.
Every time I've talked to him.
I love to see a guy living the dream, you know.
You know, he hasn't ever talked about winning. Every time I've seen him in the last couple of days, all he's talked about is how much fun he's having just to be in this tournament.
Well, that's what this tournament's all about, Jesse. I mean, it's serious money, but you know, even the losers go home from this tournament with a smile on their faces, and there's not a lot of tournaments you can say that about.
And the turn is the 7 o'clock.
And that's great news for Blake. He doubles up. I mean, you know, Mark Spellman from Galway, who got a very unlucky
God, yeah.
10th in this tournament. All he was talking about last night was he just didn't want it to end. He was just having too much fun.
Yeah, I was talking for quite a while last night. I mean, I haven't seen it. He got beat with
One
two
outer.
sixes by two fives. And he was laughing in the bar afterwards.